Hi, I'm Randy MacLean. I'm the creator of Waypoint Analytics, the system that executives use to identify and close off the massive profit drains that exist in every wholesale distribution business. In this video, I'm going to talk more about the mathematics of wholesale distribution. I wanted to spend some time talking about the dynamics of how profits are gained in the business or how they're driven in the business. And I think it's really important for everybody in your organization to have a thorough understanding of how profits are made mathematically and financially, so that they can identify things that they can do in their areas of expertise and responsibility to help the company perform better. So the first thing I want to do is I want to get away from all the things that we're used to talking about, and I want to basically put an end for once and for all talking about revenues, talking about gross margins, talking about cost cutting, and the kinds of things that we've typically used throughout time to try and manage the businesses, and not to great effect. And the reason that we've lost sight of this is we've never really thought about how money is being made. And so in every wholesale distribution company, there are really two numbers that need to be managed. The first number is gross profit. Gross profit is a function of sales volume and pricing or margin, and those things contribute to it, but gross profit is the number. Gross profit is a very important number because that's the operating budget for the company. The amount of gross profit that you make selling your goods and services to the world is the money that you have to pay for everything that you do and produce a return for the stakeholders of the business. So it's very important to be focused like a laser on gross profit production, not on revenue numbers, not on gross margin. The second number that is very important is cost to serve. That's basically the sum total of the expenses that you have in operating your business and delivering your products or services into the hands of your customers. The cost to serve number must always be less than the gross profit number, which makes sense, but it rarely is. And in most of your business, in more than 50% of everything that you do, those numbers are upside down. If you look at any line of any invoice, particularly half of your lines are upside down, more than half of your invoices are upside down, more than half of your customers are upside down. And that's the reason that you're not taking advantage of the massive profits that are flowing through your business every single day. And in our world, we look at about $65 billion worth of transactional business from wholesale distribution companies throughout North America. And I can tell you that most companies get basically retain less than 20%, 20 to 25% of the profits they make on the best part of their business. They only retain a very tiny fraction and get to the bottom line. All the rest is lost to these other transactions where you're upside down and you're losing money. So how do we determine these things? The first thing is there's a really terrific metric that you can use to manage the business on. It's called NBC, or net before compensation. The way that you come up with NBC is you take the gross profit line, you deduct all of your operating expenses, but leaving out what you pay the customer-facing salespeople. You get a subtotal of those expenses, subtract one for the other, and NBC is the amount of money that you have left after you've procured and paid for the product, and after you paid for all your operations with the exception of the salespeople. It's the amount of money that you're going to wind up sharing with the sales force. And so part of the money will be retained for the company, the rest will go to the sales force. It's a nice division, and you have a great number to manage the business on. Why is that? Because unlike gross margin, gross profit, NBC takes costs into account. So if you have a high-cost customer, a high-cost product, you have a lot of transactions going on somewhere, they're raising your costs, that's going to get reflected in the NBC. So if everybody's working on managing the NBC, you can't help but be profitable, because everybody's focused on making sure you have lots of money to pay the salespeople and have something to return to the stakeholders in the company. So the NBC is absolutely the golden number. Anybody can have an NBC report, by the way. Just have your programmers or whoever it is that you have in your company that sets up your financial statements make you one version of the financial statement that is revenue, cost of goods, gross profit, all of your operating expenses except for the sales compensation, then a subtotal, subtract one for the other to find out how much your NBC is, then put in the sales compensation, subtract that, and get the bottom line. If you do that, you can have a report that has NBC on it, and you can start managing your business the way that the super performers do. So having the NBC number is a very important management tool. And I wanted to make sure that you were aware of it and you could start to act on it as quickly as you can. So I'm going to leave it there for today. We're going to talk more about these things in our next sessions. So I'm going to leave it with you for now. So thank you very much, and we'll see you next time.